Everyone is looking for the one size fits all approach to nutrition. Everyone's looking for the story where someone lost the most amount of weight or fixed their health conditions in the least amount of time. And it makes it so confusing for people because we absolutely need to individualize health advice and nutrition protocols. What will work for one person may not work for the next. And there are so many reasons for that. So you have to take into account your age. Are you perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal? What nationality, ethnicity are you? We also need to look about what's your lifestyle like. Are you under huge amounts of stress or are you really grounded? That's absolutely going to affect what's going to work for you and what isn't. People completely underestimate how much stress impacts our health and vitality. It impacts our blood sugars and blood sugar dysregulation, our metabolic health. So for someone who is really stressed out, has such an active, busy lifestyle, which applies to plenty of women nowadays. If you're also perimenopausal and you're not eating until 2 in the afternoon because you either forget to, or you're just too busy to, or you don't know what to eat and you think that fasting is ideal, then that type of thing sets you up for blood sugar dysregulation, higher stress levels, and also that it's going to mean that you're going to be absolutely craving the carbohydrate type foods, and whether it's the savory carbs, so you might be going for the sushi or the sandwich or the roll or the wrap, and plenty of other things in between that can constitute going for the carbs. Carbohydrates all break down to sugars. So whether it's the simple sugars that you're having, fruits, lollies, or whether it's the breads and potatoes and the sushi rolls and things that can appear to be healthy, muesli bars, flavored yogurts, fruit juices, so many of those foods can appear to be healthy. They will help in a quick fix because you need instant sugar when your body's under a lot of stress and you haven't eaten for a long time. But it's absolutely going to cause blood sugar spikes, and that can lead to leakier blood vessel permeability in lipedema. It can lead to mood dysregulation. It can lead to needing to nap in the afternoon because if your body's not dealing with that sugar load well, your body will want you to sleep while it sorts itself out and regulates its blood sugars. Some people aren't eating until they're getting home for dinner. We can easily assume that anyone overweight is eating too much, but I see tons of women in my clinic who are absolutely not eating anywhere near enough, or they're going all day without eating, thinking, great, I'm fasting, and they're just having that one meal of a night time, and then they're snacking well into the night because by then their body is so hungry, it's demanding that they keep eating to get the nutrients in that it needs. So then, you're eating before bedtime, which dysregulates hormones, and also, leads to more and more snacking, and then that keeps you up later at night. So then you're missing your natural circadian rhythm. It just has so many flow-on effects. So what we're really looking to do here is that we're wanting to reduce inflammation. So anti-inflammatory nutrition protocols. Now that's going to look different for everyone as well, and that is going to depend on all of those factors I mentioned earlier. If you're going to have a very different nutritional approach for a 40-year-old male than you're going to have for a 40-year-old female or a 60-year-old female, 70 or 80-year-old female, to teenagers. We can't process foods in the same way as we did when we were teenagers. We have different hormonal things going on in the background, and different factors as stress levels, different comorbidities. So what other health conditions do you have? Do you have autoimmune conditions, which is going to dictate what types of foods are inflammatory for you, and what ones are going to help you heal your body? So we absolutely need to take those into account as well. What kind of nutritional deficiencies do you have that's going to to contribute to all of those factors as well? So this is where I really just want people to understand that there is no one size fits all approach with this. When we talk about low carb and keto, what we're really talking about firstly is eliminating processed foods and added sugars, particularly liquid sugars. So not adding, anything that creates sugars that we're drinking, because that's out of the food matrix. It gets processed super fast, and it can cause rapid weight gain. It can cause the lipedema. Fat cells that are already metabolically dysregulated can cause those growth spurts, which is what we're really trying to avoid. So we really want to be able to take those types of things into account, and just remove the processed foods, preservatives. Some people will be more reactive to things like histamine, so they might have histamine responses to fermented foods. So what could be, dairy could be a good contribution to calcium and plenty of other nutrients for one person, but it could cause inflammation in the next. It could cause intolerances to the proteins in the dairy, intolerances to the carbohydrates into the dairy. Yet for other people, they handle those just fine, and it gives them a lot of really good nutrients. So we don't necessarily want to just be taking out those types of foods either. So when we're looking at nutrition protocols, just avoiding the processed foods is going to be a fantastic starting point. Now, some people will really need help with that, because carbohydrate addiction or sugar addiction and emotional eating will really impact how well you're able to navigate that. In addition, just to having family members, with having a lot of people around you who are eating a lot of processed foods and carbs, teenagers, young kids are great examples of that. So it can feel a little extra tricky to learn how to navigate that, to make those changes. So, but those changes are really important, and how quickly or slowly you transition from that is completely dependent on you and where you're at, and just honoring your own journey, recognizing that we're all different. We're all starting from different places. We've all got different health goals. What you need to incorporate to achieve them is going to look, really different from you to the next person. And then we need to say, okay, well, how, if we remove all of the processed foods, that's fantastic, but still sometimes, there might be something like a paleo diet or a whole food 30 diet that is still really high in carbohydrates. So, still lots of sweet potatoes and lots of dates and coconut sugar and all of these things that sound really healthy, but sugar is sugar, whether it's coming from honey or dates or coconut sugar or table sugar. It all impacts us metabolically, and that's problematic for women with lipedema and lymphedema. So we really want to then say, okay, how much does someone need to lower their carbohydrates? Do they need to go into ketosis and get those extra medicinal qualities of producing ketone bodies as your body's new predominant fuel substrate, rather than the body just relying on glucose molecules? And that's the key definition of ketosis, is that you're actually changing your body's metabolism, its fuel source, over to predominantly fats. So that's important to take into account as well. So how low you need to go with your carbohydrates is going to depend on how insulin resistant are you. Where is your metabolic health at the moment? So some people will be able to make changes that incorporate more carbohydrates and get really great results. They'll still be eliminating the processed foods predominantly, but can still get really good results. But that doesn't mean that everyone can eat more carbohydrates and get great results, because if you have fatty liver, if you have insulin resistance, if you're menopausal, premenopausal or postmenopausal and have less insulin sensitivity, that's going to differ to someone who's 30 years old. So, we read a lot of posts of people describing what they've done and how amazing it's worked for them. And look, you don't need to go keto because I've done this with carbohydrates and it worked just fine. Always keep in mind, well, how old are they? What was their starting point? What's their metabolic health like? What other comorbidities and conditions do they have? what medications are they taking? What nutritional deficiencies or excesses do they have? There are so many things that will change this individually. And that's where it can be really helpful to get the help of, a clinical nutritionist like myself that can help to guide you through that process so that you know, okay, where's a good place to start? What's the most helpful? How can I do this in a way that's going to support my lifestyle, my social life, my work life, my family life, and be able to do it in a way that is sustainable so that you can really love your food and make this a change, a nutrition change that you can sustain long term without compromising your muscle mass. So it's not about severe calorie restriction. Those diets don't work long term. They compromise muscle health. That's a problem for women with lipedema. Studies show we often have reduced muscle mass. Not everyone, but plenty of people do because they've been under eating, they've been dieting all their lives, they're not eating enough protein, they're not eating enough calories. There's lots of issues there that need addressing. So, reach out if you would like some help to make sense of all of this, because it is completely overwhelming for a lot of people. So many people are confused about what to do, and the way forward can look different for everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to stop eating anything you've ever enjoyed, but there will be some things that you make changes from, and you concentrate on the foods that you can include, and to really make an eating lifestyle nutritious and delicious. So if you'd like to have a chat, you can book in from my website ichoosehealth.com.au. You can book in for a free 30-minute consult where we get to chat about where your health is at, what type of help you're looking for, and whether that's something that maybe I can help you with. So I'd love to see you and help you sort through some of the nutrition chaos.